Hi everyone, it's Emma from Mama Luna. I make bespoke Yoni steam seats, reusable sanitary towels, run public and private Yoni steaming workshops, and also offer one-to-one sessions. If you haven't already heard of Mama Luna, well, you have now, so make sure you click the subscribe button, and so you'll always be notified of whenever I make lovely YouTube videos. I try to keep them as short as possible, but I'm a chatter, so yeah, it just is what it is. If you're not following me on Instagram, then head over to @mama_luna Yoni steam to follow. And yeah, just keep up with the conversation, be part of the conversation, all of that jazz. Right, now let's get into it. So we ladies, queens, we really need to rename parts of our yoni. There are just, it just makes my soul shake even just thinking about it. Yeah, there are two parts of our yoni specifically that I know about so far that have been named after men. Where do I even begin? Where do I even begin with the level of ownership and entitlement that has still been allowed to evolve into today's society? And the reason why this really bugs me is just because it's like a label, it's like branding. And it just goes to reinforce the belief that women were created in servitude to men, like we're either meant to be wives or mothers. If we're not being wives, then we are here to, what's that word, serve as someone's, or I say someone, as men's own sexual pleasure bots. And I'm just like, no, we exist for our own right, we exist for our own right. And I'm so fucking sick and tired of, do you know what, I'm going to be honest, I think I'm very sick and tired of religious people specifically being like, oh well, you know, Eve was made for Adam. It's just like, that's not a reason to oppress someone, to tell someone what their body is for, you know what I mean? So two parts that I've personally renamed myself are the egg tube, so that's what's more commonly known as the fallopian tube. I'm not doing it. I'm not calling it the fallopian tube anymore. Do you want to know why? There is a 16th century gynecologist called Georgius Fallopius, and he apparently discovered the fallopian tube because women, we had no idea that we had a fallopian tube. We had no idea of its function. We were so clueless before Georgius Fallopius came along and discovered this part of our body and told us about its function. Gosh, I thank you so much, Georgius. Like, what the fuck? So no, I'm not calling a part of my body after some man. No, not doing it at all. So yeah, I just call it the egg tube. Because that's simply what an unfertilized egg travels down to get into, to be able to attach itself to our endometrium. But there's no need for it to be named after a man anymore. I'm just like, it's absolutely ridiculous. So there's that, and then there's also vagina. If I open my mouth, I'm opening my mouth. So vagina means sword holder or sheath. There are so many problems with this. Obviously, it was a man that thought of this. It was a man that clearly thought of this. So I'm just like, okay, so if a vagina is meant to be a sword holder, does that now mean that penises are swords? I'm just like, for men to think as their penises as, and obviously I'm not saying all men, there's very much men who have a sense of entitlement and ownership. I wish they had all only existed in the 16th and 17th century, but unfortunately there are men who still have that mindset today, and it's because of these mindsets from the, do you know what, even before the 16th century, because it's not as though toxic masculinity and patriarchy just like sprang up from there. It has its roots way further back. But I'm just like, so clearly men do think of the penises as, yeah, swords, these things that wield power, these things that can cause pain, these things that allow them to be conquerors. And I'm just like, what the fuck? No, 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 no. The, I don't even call it the vagina anymore. I just call it the canal. I just call it the canal. So a canal is so much more fucking stronger than a penis. It's actually unbelievable. But it was done by design. It was labelled vagina by design to make women feel as though we're weak and to take us away from our power, and that the very power that our body has, and you know, just exactly what we are capable of. There is absolutely no way on this earth that the vagina, or well, yeah, our canal can pass through a whole ass human being more than once and then go back to the way it was. Like, how on earth is that weak, and how is a penis strong? Like, honestly, it's just so fucking ridiculous. And it's this type of entitlement and ownership that I just, now that I'm aware of it, I refuse to perpetuate it. I absolutely refuse to perpetuate it. So that's why I personally call it the canal. But then even so, calling it a vagina is also incredibly reductive, because it's just like, what about lesbians? They don't believe that the canal is meant to be holding this mighty conqueror's sword. Not at all. Or what about people who are asexual and just don't experience sexual pleasure in that way? Should we give the canal a different name? And then I think also calling our yoni, like referring to it as a reproductive system. Not everyone can reproduce. Not everyone wants to reproduce. Like, it's very unlikely that I'm going to reproduce. So it's just like, do I not call my yoni a reproductive system? Like, obviously I know that it takes place there, and I'm not trying to dishonour that. I do definitely think there's something very sacred in producing and creating and giving birth to new life, but it's just not an option that everyone wants to experience. You know what I mean? So things like that, and I'm just like, we have to do better. We have to do better. And I'm just thinking, women, or anyone who identifies as a woman, or anyone who has a yoni, I just think we really need to reclaim the language when it comes to our body. And so, like, I only learned this stuff last year, so for the past 31 years I've been walking around, and if I ever spoke about my egg tube or canal, I'd refer to it as a fallopian tube or a vagina, and that's all about male entitlement and ownership over our bodies. I was just like, we women, we have every right to name out our parts of our bodies for ourselves. It doesn't even have to be a unified thing for all women. Like, I could call my egg tubes, I might one day decide I want it to be, I don't know, travelling skipping rope. And if I want to call it travelling skipping rope, then guess what? It's going to be travelling skipping rope. And if someone over there wants to be like, you know what, dandelion, then guess what? It's a dandelion. It's our bodies, like actually our bodies. So we have each and every single right to reclaim that sense of entitlement and ownership over what the parts of our bodies are actually labelled, and then also its function as well. I just think, like, that must be really horrible for women who are unable to, first of all, like, get pregnant or sustain their pregnancies, or maybe even able to actually give birth. And then, so for that to be called the reproductive system, again, that's just not a possibility, an option, a desire for most well, not for most, but just for some women, you know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm so done with that bullshit, like so absolutely done with that bullshit. So yeah, I genuinely feel like at least we should have options. At least we should have options. If someone wants to refer to the canal as a vagina because they're just like, yeah, I do love having penis in my vagina all the time and whatever, then it's just like, yeah, so be it. So be it. But it needs to be our choice. We need to be a lot more on it in terms of educating ourselves about our bodies, what we've been taught about our bodies, and how we've been distanced from our bodies as well, who we look to as an authority on when it comes to our bodies as well. I find that within the medical industry, and specifically regarding women, it's always the narrative that there are what's that term, Harpetan paradoxes. So women have been saying so many things for years and years and years. For example, period pain. Women were complaining about period pains for years, and we were just dismissed and labelled as, just being hysterical, not knowing about our bodies, and we're just a bit crazy. And then goodness knows how many years later, then a male gynecologist or doctor comes in and is just like, these women are right. Yes, periods can actually cause pain. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. So we really need, I personally feel, and it's been something within my own journey where I've had to look at the language that I'm using. These 17th century gynecologists, and even so many gynecologists today, I don't want to say that they don't like, I genuinely believe the ones from centuries ago had no idea what they were doing, but I feel like some today, they're just so used to goodness knows how many thousands of years of, centuries of this information. They trust in that, they believe in that, and even though there has been major advances within medical technology, it's just like there's still so much that they've got wrong. There's still so much information that comes from this place of ignorance, that comes from a place of conquering and dominion over women. And there's still so much information that's missing when it comes to gynecology, when it comes to just like women's yonis in general. And for me, I just had to really look at absolutely everything possible, question everything, and changing my language has been really empowering, because again, I'm just not happy with this entitlement. I'm not at all. And we need to, if we want change, if we want to usher in something different, we have then got to change what we've been doing. So that's why I've changed my language. I'm not looking to the NHS or any other sort of Western medical practitioners for information. I'm trusting my intuition. I'm journaling about the different changes that are taking place within my body. I'm going to natural health doctors that I trust. I'm speaking to other women, reading loads more books, and just doing everything so differently. And it has been amazing. It's been so so cool. And I thank the universe each and every single day that I at least live in a world where I have the options, I have the knowledge and the power and the courage as well to just be like, actually, I'm going to do me. And if I want to rename parts of my body that were named after men, which should never have fucking happened in the first place, then I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? So it's just nice to have an option. It's just nice to have an actual option. So yeah, thank you for listening. And I hope this has also given any women or anyone who has a yoni maybe some different ideas. If you want to stick to the same language, that's your choice. Whatever empowers you. But I think it's all about education, knowledge, and just also no fucks to give in terms of reclaiming our bodies. There's something so incredibly sacred and powerful that exists within us, that there has been, goodness knows, how many years of systematic oppression in terms of women having that connection to our body and just the power that we hold within it. I have no fucks to give anymore. I'm reclaiming all of that, and yeah, changing the language I use around my yoni has really helped. So no more fallopian tube but egg tube for me, and no more vagina but canal. So that is it. Please let me know what your thoughts are in terms of what I've said. Yeah, I'd just love to hear, and you know, this is an interesting conversation, I think. So yeah, I'd love to hear what you think. So yeah, leave your comments down below. Please like this video, share it with your friends, and also yeah, feel free to follow me on Instagram. That's at at mamaluna underscore, nope, try that again, mama_luna yoni steam, and my links will also be below as well, so you can like holler at me if you want like a private group yoni steaming session, a one-to-one session, or have a look to see when my next public workshop is. I know we're still under lockdown. I probably won't be doing public workshops until maybe sort of like end of July, September time, but until then everything will be online. And also check out my website as well, everything's handmade by me. Anyway, ciao lovely, see you next time.